Yeah, so that famous photograph, what we have now learned, and the government has had, Jack Smith and his prosecutors have had to admit that that was staged. And those top secret classified sheets that all the public saw and said, oh my God, look at those top secret documents, those were placed there by the FBI. And what Jack Smith admitted in court this week was that, in his word, they mishandled the classified documents and misrepresented those to the court. Maria, that's a kind way of saying we tampered with the evidence, then we lied to the court about it. And they got caught when President Trump's lawyers and the other co-defendants raised this issue and said, look, the documents here don't match up. The documents that were presented to us don't match the digitally scanned records of when they were taken from Mar-a-Lago. And Jack Smith, not only did they tamper with that and lie to the court about it, but he's now admitted to the court that he doesn't know how that happened. He's only offered a number of possible explanations for how that could have happened. So he's absolutely blown the chain of custody. And again, he has a prosecutor, lead prosecutor in this case, Jay Bratt, who met with White House counsel and a representative of the National Archives in several times in the weeks before Jack Smith was even appointed. This reeks of crossfire hurricane when the Obama-Biden administration fabricated evidence before the FISA court, lied to the court about it to pursue Donald Trump, and now we're seeing it again in this classified documents case. The judge could dismiss this case at any point in time, Maria. I think the only reason that she hasn't is she wants to document this publicly.
It's over, gang. Stick a fork in this moron. Jack Smith's classified documents case against President Trump has officially imploded. We're going to see precisely how the judge in this case has effectively ended Jack Smith's career and why the legacy media are having a total and complete meltdown. You're going to absolutely love this. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button, and let's dive right in. In what's being called a slam dunk for President Trump, the classified documents case, the case that crossed the Rubicon 2 years ago by raiding a former president's home at Mar-a-Lago, that very case has now officially collapsed. Judge Eileen Cannon has postponed indefinitely the trial date for Jack Smith's case against Trump. The indefinite postponement, which is the closest thing that you can get to for a judge to toss the case out entirely, comes on the heels of revelations that the prosecutor, Jack Smith, admitted in court papers that the prosecution did indeed tamper with evidence. Now, remember that image the legacy media published showing classified documents scattered all over the floor at Mar-a-Lago? You remember that? And we were supposed to think from that, oh, is this how irresponsible Trump is in treating national security secrets? My heavens, what's next? Are you going to tell me that he stored them in cardboard boxes in his garage? Yeah, well, as it turns out, those cover sheets on all the documents, they were literally planted by the FBI. Everything you see that says in capital letters, secret, secret, top secret, that was all planted. According to the court filings released by Judge Cannon, Jack Smith has admitted that the FBI brought those cover sheets to the Mar-a-Lago raid. They paperclipped them to the documents for the sole purpose of creating that stunt photo of the crime scene to make it appear as if that's how the documents were found. And unfortunately for Jack Smith, that's how he presented the evidence to the court. In other words, they didn't just tamper with the evidence and violate chain of custody protocols, but they basically lied to the court in the process. Jack Smith admitted in his latest filing that he misled the court. It's not that he simply made a mistake. It's he literally admitted in court papers that he has misled the court. And legal experts are saying that is absolutely fatal to Smith's case. Here's legal commentator David Gelman.
What this means is it's a slam dunk for President Trump. There is no way that this trial, if it ever occurs, will happen prior to the election. Just cannot happen. Literally and figuratively cannot happen. What she saw today, or what she said in her opinion or her order, is pretty much that, Jack Smith, you have a lot of explaining to do. She has to go through all these pretrial motions now because what Jack Smith misled the court in, which was documented last week and John Solomon was talking about it last night on your program, that he literally said, you know what, these documents that we have, they may not be in the same order. We mishandled them. So they're accusing President Trump of doing the exact thing that they actually admitted doing. That's the beauty of this. And, you know, when you mislead a court, Grant, there is no coming back. You cannot do that. A judge will never look at you the same.
Gang, as you know, we look out for each other on this channel. Your safety and security is our #1 priority. So if you haven't secured the deed to your home as of yet, you need to click on that link below right now. Don't wait. Do it right now and protect yourself and your loved ones. I was absolutely shocked when I found out how easy it was to access the deed to my house. And not just access it, but actually change it. Gang, the problem is the deed to our homes is the only document that proves we own it. But the problem is that the deeds to all our homes are now online. And criminals are free to find your deed, forge your signature, refile as the new owner of your home, take out tons of loans using your home's equity, and guess what? Then they stick you with all the debt. But that's where our good friends over at Home Title Law come in. Gang, they are amazing. Home Title Law gives you the peace of mind that the deed to your home is absolutely and completely protected 24/7. Click on that link below right now. Use promo code TurleyTalks. Then all you have to do is just enter your address for your no-obligation home title scan to see if you've already been a victim of deed theft. That's a $100 value, absolutely, totally free with my promo code TurleyTalks. Gang, don't wait for the worst to happen only to regret you didn't do something about it when you could have. Do what I've done. Do what countless patriots have done. Click on that link below right now and secure your home today. So for you forensic fans, as it were, what happened, as you heard U.S. Attorney John Ratcliffe explain at the beginning of this video, is that Jack Smith's team basically contaminated the chain of custody. The chain of custody involves giving an objective account for the evidence at every step of the investigation. The only way evidence is admissible in a court of law is if its chain of custody can be accounted for at every single point of its admission. You need documentation how the evidence was received, where then it was restored, where it was stored, how it was stored, and who had access to it. At any point, if that chain of custody is broken, if there's no record of who or what was involved in the moment of that evidence, if there are inconsistencies with that evidence, if the evidence was exposed to any possible manipulation, it's no longer admissible because it could have been tampered with. Not necessarily that it was tampered with, but it could have been tampered with, and that's enough to disqualify the evidence. And that is basically what's happened to Jack Smith's classified document case. Now, what's brilliant here is that this decision by Judge Eileen Cannon, who, by the way, has been brilliant, I think, throughout these proceedings. I think she's been very fair to both sides. She's pushed back on and probed Jack Smith and his case consistently throughout to make sure that President Trump is getting a fair hearing here. Just to show you how sharp she is in all of this, by postponing the date for the trial indefinitely, Judge Cannon has left Jack Smith bereft of any ability to appeal her decision. It leaves Smith with nothing to appeal. A prosecutor has no basis to appeal a judge's decision declining to set a new trial date. So this case is basically dead. And what's so hilarious is that the legacy media now, they have no idea how to report this. They're literally shell-shocked. I mean, look at this absurdity from Politico. Prosecutors admit docks and boxes seized from Mar-a-Lago were inadvertently jumbled. Inadvertently jumbled. And then the byline claims that Jack Smith, well, he acknowledged he had, quote, mischaracterized the issue, but it wasn't significant. Don't worry about it. I mean, seriously, I mean this. How is this substantially any different from the kind of reporting we get in North Korea? I'm being totally serious. How is being this ideologically enslaved to the interests of our political elite formally any different to the ideological enslavement in North Korea? I'd really like an answer to that because in the end, I'm sorry, I don't see a dime's worth of difference. What Politico is publishing there is blatant political propaganda coming straight from the bowels of the deep state. Here's CNN admitting that Trump has basically won. The cases against him have collapsed.
A delay, but also we should note Special Counsel Jack Smith really has voiced some serious concerns, if not animus, toward this judge.
Yeah, absolutely. And there may come a time when he tries to get her removed from the case. But at this point, that's premature. What Jack Smith knows tonight, though, is that it's very possible that he may not be able to bring either one of his federal cases against former President Trump before the election. And the election is a significant point on the calendar, because if Trump is reelected, he can have Jack Smith and both of his cases dismissed. Now, here, this case, the classified documents case, postponed indefinitely. But the other prosecution that Smith has brought, the January 6th case, also on ice while the Supreme Court contemplates if Trump has presidential immunity. Now, in their arguments a couple weeks ago, they signaled that they're not likely to toss that case out, but they might toss it back down to the trial court for more litigation, which, again, that's why it would make it impossible to bring before the November election. Obviously, we're here in Manhattan for this criminal case. The other one outstanding is the RICO case down in Georgia. But again, it goes back to the strategy of delay. By trying to have Fani Willis and Nathan Wade removed from the case, they successfully likely pushed that until late in this year. And it's very difficult, again, if Trump is reelected, to put him on trial down there. So this long game that they've been playing to try to delay everything overall has been successful.
They're all collapsing. All the cases against Trump are collapsing right before their very eyes. This classified documents case, keep in mind, it was supposed to be the strongest one of them all. It was the one that had the most evidence. It's the one that was supposedly had the most documentation. And now it's collapsed. The case has completely collapsed, as Jack Smith admitted, not only to tampering with evidence, but then basically lying about it to the court. And there's no coming back from that. And of course, as all of this is happening, you have the implosion of the Alvin Bragg case in Manhattan. The hush money case against Trump has literally descended into a circus. It has degenerated into a theater of the absurd. Think about it. You had Judge Juan Merchant, a Democrat donor. Okay, you had this Democrat judge excoriate President Trump for not respecting the dignity of the court. And then in the next breath, he turns around and says, "Now bring out the porn star." This is beyond absurd at this point. If this is what the legal system is degenerated into in New York City, if you're there, you need to leave immediately. This is a theater of the absurd, and the entire world, not just the United States, the entire world sees it. And you know what? Even CNN sees it.
Watching all of this and reading all of these updates with us. And Paula, if I was describing the intensity in there this morning, I mean, this cross-examination took on a whole other level just now.
Yeah, and remember at the start of the day, the Trump team was outraged that they had so little notice about who the witness would be and so little time to prepare their cross-examination. Well, clearly, Caitlin, they're doing just fine. This is a devastating cross-examination. They have gotten Stormy Daniels to concede she hates Trump, that she has said that she would dance if he went to jail. They have pointed to the fact that she has said she will never pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars that she owes him. They've effectively undercut her credibility by getting her to talk about conversations she had, that impeaching her with her own book. I mean, this has been devastating for Stormy Daniels' credibility. Now, big picture, what does that mean for the case as a whole?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not much, because she doesn't have any direct evidence of the falsifying business records. What she could explain today is what exactly Trump was trying to hide between the Access Hollywood tape and Election Day in 2016. This illicit sexual encounter with a porn star back, over a decade prior. She was able to explain to the jury that and how she got paid. But I think what we should really take away from today is this is a preview of what Michael Cohen can look forward to. This kind of sort of devastating, eviscerating cross.
Devastating and eviscerating, not to mention totally and completely irrelevant to the case. All Stormy Daniels was meant to do was to try to embarrass Trump. And it looks like more and more that she only ended up revealing just how utterly embarrassing this entire case against Trump really is. Here's your opportunity to tell big tech tyrants where they can stick it. Click on that link below and download our brand new cancel-proof Turley Talks app. And you can sign our special declaration of restoration. That's our petition to big tech that declares a new day is dawned. They are no longer in control, and we are taking our nation back. We've already got over 1,000 signatures of courageous patriots, and yours is next. Click on that link below or go to fight.turleytalks.com right now.